morning routine designed to completely optimize your focus, your health, and your daily energy. And look, this isn't just about your standard productivity tips or, writing a better to-do list. We are talking about literally hijacking your neurochemistry to make your biology work for you instead of against you. If your mornings ever feel chaotic, or if you're just kind of feeling like you aren't getting the most out of those crucial first few hours, well, you're definitely going to want to pay close attention to the biological transformations we're exploring today. So let's dive right into this. Andrew Huberman himself sums up this entire process with absolute certainty. He says, "I'm certain that these tools work." And I love that word, tools. Notice he doesn't call them habits or chores. Every single step we're about to look at is a deliberate lever that you can pull to get a highly optimized, specific result out of your own biological machinery.
Okay, here is our morning timeline. We're gonna start with a 6 a.m. wake up, get some sunlight by 6:15, hydrate at 8, knock out a 90-minute deep work bout at 9:30, and then break our fast at 11 a.m. Which brings us to part 1 of the routine, the dawn protocol. For this particular routine, the day kicks off somewhere between 6 and 6:30 a.m. But here's the catch. You don't just roll out of bed and stumble groggily into your day. The very first action you take is to write down the exact time you woke up. Now, why does this matter biologically? Well, it acts as an immediate mental anchor. By logging the time, you're beginning to consciously track your own circadian rhythm. It literally instantly shifts you from being a passive waker, just someone letting the morning happen to them, into a highly active, intentional participant in your day. Once you've got that time logged, the very next step, before absolutely anything else, is to immediately get outside. The phrase used in the source material is to make a beeline for sunlight. Now, I know, it's incredibly tempting to just grab your phone from the nightstand and start doom scrolling in bed for 20 minutes. We've all been there, right? But you've got to resist that urge. You aren't checking emails, you aren't turning on the morning news, you're moving with immediate, deliberate purpose directly toward the outdoors. And that means prioritizing a 10 to 15-minute walk outside in the morning sunlight. This isn't just about feeling refreshed or, getting some fresh air. It is explicitly vital to your mental and physical health. Here's the biological why behind it. When early morning sunlight actually hits your eyes, it triggers a healthy, absolutely necessary spike in cortisol. And don't worry, this isn't the bad kind of stress cortisol. This is a crucial wake-up signal for your entire body. On top of that early light exposure sets a biological timer for your melatonin release later that night, which ensures you're going to have significantly better, deeper sleep. It is literally the foundational bedrock for both your mind and your body.
All right, moving right along, we hit part 2, the fueling strategy.
Now, if you're the kind of person who reaches for the coffee pot the exact second your feet hit the floor, this is going to be a major shift for you. In this routine, you must purposefully delay your caffeine intake for 90 to 120 minutes after waking up. It's a highly intentional waiting period. And the science behind this is just fascinating. See, we delay caffeine to allow the brain to naturally clear out adenosine. Adenosine is that sneaky little molecule that builds up in our system and makes us feel sleepy. If you drink coffee right away, the caffeine just blocks those adenosine receptors. It doesn't actually clear the molecule away. So what happens? When the caffeine wears off in the early afternoon, all that trapped adenosine floods your system, causing that massive, unavoidable afternoon crash. Delaying the coffee prevents the crash entirely. It's a total game changer.
So you're probably wondering, what on earth do you drink during that 90 to 120-minute waiting period? Well, instead of reaching for coffee, you build this precise hydration recipe. The base is just water. Then you mix in athletic greens for some compatible nutrients. But here is the real secret, adding just a little bit of sea salt. Now, you might be scratching your head about the salt, but it provides essential electrolytes that actually fire up your nervous system and support your adrenal function after a long night of fasting. It hydrates you at a deep cellular level without triggering any of the digestive processes that would break your morning fast. And speaking of fasting, following this routine means you deliberately do not eat anything at all until about 11 a.m. or even noon. Fasting is a massive component here. But it's not just about physical health, it is all about those profound cognitive benefits. Think about it for a second. Digesting food takes a massive amount of cellular energy. By remaining in a fasted state through the morning, all of that energy that would normally go toward, say, breaking down a bowl of oatmeal, is instead diverted directly to your brain. You are essentially riding this amazing wave of sharp, pure, uninterrupted cognitive focus throughout the entire first half of your day.
Now let's put that focus to use in part 3, the output phase.
By the time late morning rolls around, you've gotten your sunlight, your targeted hydration, and your delayed caffeine is finally circulating in your system.
Now it's time for a highly concentrated 90-minute bout of deep work. Why exactly 90 minutes though? Well, it all comes down to ultradian rhythms. Human brains are biologically hardwired to operate at absolute peak focus in 90-minute cycles. Anything beyond that, you're just hitting diminishing returns and severe cognitive fatigue. You aren't doing 4 hours of scattered multitasking here. You are aligning with your biology for exactly 90 minutes of dedicated, intense effort. Think about how we usually work. Typical work is often super distracted and fragmented, usually with your phone buzzing right next to your keyboard. But this 90-minute bout is entirely different. The phone isn't just on silent, it is turned completely off and it is physically removed from the room. The biological reasoning here is what's called the context switching penalty. Every single time a phone even lights up in your peripheral vision, your brain pays a heavy cognitive penalty, totally destroying your capacity for deep work. You would be absolutely amazed at how much you can accomplish in just 90 minutes when you're operating with pure focus, zero digital distractions, and zero context switching. It is wildly productive. Directly after that intense mental exertion, you switch gears completely. You slam the laptop shut and you commit to do some form of physical exercise for about an hour. And there's a beautiful synergy happening here. After intensely taxing your prefrontal cortex during that deep work block, the absolute best way to let your brain recover is to shift the cognitive load entirely to your physical body. You've exhausted the mind through pure focus, and now you balance that equation by vigorously engaging your muscles. Which brings us to the very end of the routine, part 4, the shock finale.
The very last, but certainly not least, tool in this morning routine is shocking your system with deliberate cold exposure. Look, let's be totally honest here. Getting into freezing cold water first thing in the morning is absolutely miserable for those first few seconds, but the profound science makes it entirely worth it. Deliberate cold exposure causes a massive, prolonged release of both dopamine and adrenaline. And this isn't just a quick, fleeting spike. It elevates your mood, your focus, and your baseline energy for hours and hours after you step out of the cold. It's intense, it's intentional, and it basically locks in all the biological benefits of everything you've done since 6 a.m.
As we wrap up this explainer, we've explored logging your wake-up time, rushing to get that morning sunlight, delaying caffeine, targeted hydration, fasting, a distraction-free 90-minute work bout, exercise, and finally, cold exposure. They are all incredibly powerful biological levers. So the question isn't just which of these tools you're going to implement tomorrow. The real question is, are you going to continue letting your morning control you, or are you finally ready to leverage your own biology to control your day? Pick one, try it out, and see the transformation for yourself. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.